Hello everybody, today is just going to be a quick deck profile just to sum something up, and then I'm also going to be talking about a tournament on Dueling Nexus I'm going to go into. But first, we'll get into the deck list. This is Endymion with Master Cerberus Engine. I find this deck actually pretty fun. You can set up some decent boards, and there's a lot you can do with it, and it's pretty open and generic. The main things that you have to look out for in this deck is that it can get Dark Ruler no more. So depending on the build you wanted to do, you could throw in like Triple Judgment if you wanted to make some changes, or whatever you wanted to do. I don't really have my recording set up, so I apologize if it's shaky a bit. So first off, we got 3 Mythical Beast Master Cerberus, 3 Mythical Beast Jackal King. This is just to cycle each other out. We also have Mythical Beast Jackal. Now these 7 go well together actually, because the Jackal could be a normal summon and then you'll always end up with the Jackal King as long as you got something to combo off of it. These are pretty generic and self-explanatory. One pops into the other and then they go back into the original. We have 2 Dark Worm and we have 1 Gate 0. I was actually contemplating putting in a Gate Infinity, because I find out that you can actually pen summon a lot in this deck, and it can combo off when you got Metaltron sitting on top. But that aside, we also have 2 Chronograph Sorcerer along with 1 Time Gazer. I don't see much need else for like 3 Chronographs and 2 Time Gazers. It's one combo off the start is pretty decent. And the other one isn't even a dead draw, because if something dies, now you have another monster. We got 2 Endymion, Mighty Master of Magic. He's just a spell negation and pretty simple. I would oppose running 3 because I never really find the need to actually have 3. We have 2 Abyss Actor Curtain Raiser. He's just a free summon, but he's also a spell starting off, so that gives you a counter. 2 Servant of Endymion. I'd run 3, but I'm having trouble getting the 3rd copy, but run 3 if you can, and take out the Metaverse for the 3rd one. 2 Artifact Scythe along with 2 Artifact Sanctum, because this actually enables a lot of lockouts, because a lot of decks are needing this, and I find 1 or 2 cards will be left in the hand extra, so that lets me open up into an extra deck lockout. We have 1 Destrudo, that's just for FA Dawn Dragster, because I was going to build Guard Dragons, but with Agripane getting banned, it's still a decent deck, but I feel like it takes away from it, so I'm going to play around and see. 1 Gate 0 set, Time Gazer, 1 Magister, because he's a scale 8, but he's also pretty good at being recurrence, bringing back from the extra deck. And if you're playing Metal Electromite, which you should be, it works pretty well. 3 Spell Power Mastery, you're going to need the Searchers, because the Searchers for Citadel, it searches for Servant, Magister, Endymion. It searches for a lot of what you need in this deck. 2 Pot of Desires, not much need to be said. It's a spell card, draw power, nothing is too essential in this deck. Dragon Shine for the Dark Worm, and for Destrudo. Sacred Village Spellcasters, because you should always be able to end on at least 1 Spellcaster, and then this should put a dent in them if they're playing something. Side decking this might be better if you get the 3rd Servant and if you play around with other things, but that's just me for right now. 2 Spell Power Grasp, which is actually basically 2 free spell counters, and I find that it's really useful, but I never need to run more than 2. And because 1 I normally pop off for Endymion Summon, so he can still get a counter. Terraforming, and the Metaverse is in case I can't get Secret Spell Village, and if I need it, just pop it during opponent's standby phase. Now they're locked out. The extra deck is pretty small, so adjust it as you will. I do recommend putting in a Boral Sword. I just haven't had one yet. But you're going to want an Avermax, because you can go into a Unicorn or Zephyra, summon 1 under it, and then you go into Avermax. So it's a pretty good beat stick, and he's pretty powerful in the deck. A Borreload, because all these guys are generic and they can be summoned easily. The Zephyr Metaltron is standard for Pendulum decks who can use a little bit of the extra deck. Unicorn, standard, the Nightmare Engine. Electromite, comes without saying. A Link Karibo for the level 1 Mythical Beast Jackal in case of anything, so at least he's not a dud on the field. And a Dawn Dragster with the Destrudo combo. So that's pretty much all there is about this deck. There's not too much I see that you can change about it, unless, of course, you really want to. I think the Guard Dragon build is still much better, even without Agripane, but that varies from person to person.